Ladies, gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary, welcome to the Monday Discourse. Finally, 5 months later. Hi, if anybody... I'm your host, Tristan, and boy, oh boy, have I had a fun first third of the year. Hello! I'm so happy to see so many people in the chat. I see. Oh, man. Okay, let's see who we got here. We got... already, number one, forgot to put my phone on silent, so we already know I am off to a real good start. All right. Let's see. Who came out. We got Dennis, we got Pim, we got Jenny, we got Jennifer, Jenny and Jennifer. Oh man, we are set. Gluten Granny, great name. 5R Nuntius, nice. Talcum Key, I see some recognizable names and some are new. Logan Anderson, nice to see you again. Platypus with Cheese, nice to see you again. Weeps, hey, it's Brett from grad school. Astro Series, nice. Dennis Waters, Ray Shalon, Polymathic, and Steph, nice, good. Oh, and James Lawson, don't forget James Lawson. I'm back. As long as I can keep this up, we are, this is still kind of a moving target. My wife is returning to work next month, but is sort of like seeping her way back in. At the moment, she doesn't work on Mondays, but next month she will. But we're going to have to work out a system so that I can do these streams. But for the moment, it's going. I got enough time to do a stream a week, so we got this. So yeah, hi, I'm Tristan Johnson. I'm the host of Step Back and It's Probably Not Aliens. Both of those are projects that we do. I guess now I do It's Probably Not Aliens a whole lot more than Step Back because, you know, that's weekly, while Step Back is, you know, whenever I can do everything. But one is a YouTube channel about history and the, you know, connections between the past and the present. The other one is a podcast where I look at claims of pseudo-history and pseudo-archaeology and kind of UFO stuff, and we talk about how it's probably not aliens. I stream on Mondays at noon, asterisk for now. We'll see what happens, see what the future has in store. I go by he, him pronouns, and if you want to support my work, you can go to patreon.com/stepbackhistory. I gotta say, first of all, at the top of the show, that I've lost a lot of patrons because, you know, I've been in kind of a content drought for the last like few months, and the patrons who have stuck around, you guys, I appreciate you guys so much. You have really been keeping the house afloat because, you know, when you're on maternity leave, you also lose a good chunk of your income, and Patreon has really been a real, like, you know, solid grounding to get us through these tough times. So everyone who supported my work, even when I went months without new content for patrons, you guys are amazing, and I would not be able to keep doing this without you. If you want to support the channel, you can become a patron for as little as, I think it's like 84 cents a month if you choose to go with the yearly pledge. And if you don't want to do that, you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, or Twitch subscriptions. But if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime subscription per month. If you choose Step Back, it's no extra cost to you, but I do get a little bit of a kickback, and I will appreciate it. And of course, any, you know, Twitch subscriptions, bits, or super chats on YouTube are all very welcome and appreciated. You know, trying to get the engine back running, and I've taken quite a financial hit by doing the paternity leave. So if you can spare it, I don't want anybody, you know, doing anything they're not comfortable with. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who does. If you want to get hold of some content, my latest video, which came out a couple weeks ago, was on the Oklahoma City bombing and Timothy McVeigh and radicalization. It was very depressing, but I think one of my best videos, at least as far as the content goes. I'm very happy with it, and people seem to like it. It's doing all right, especially for like a month off. It is performing reasonably well. And my next video, I guess that this is like I can announce for this one, which is that my next video is going to be finish it, or at least doing a part in my series on the BRICS countries, and I'm doing a brief history of Russia. But I'm going to do it different from a lot of the other, because there's tons of history of Russia videos on YouTube. I'm going to do a history of Russia video, but specifically only after the fall of the Soviet Union. So it's going to be post-Soviet Russia. I think that'll be really fun. And try to explain how we got to the situation we're in now. And as far as taking questions for this and future streams, I did a whole new setup behind the scenes to make the question system much more easy to manage on my part. You probably won't notice anything. But if you wish to submit questions, you can do so at a link I'm going to put in the chat. And then also, if this is your first time watching this stream, because this is my first time after a long hiatus, if it's your first time, congratulations. Wow, the opposite I want to say. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting the show. You guys are keeping this... Right now, I'm hitting this sort of fulcrum where we're having serious talks about whether or not I can keep doing content creation as a full-time gig. And it's people like you coming out and keeping the embers running that is really like what's letting me keep it going. So thank you so much for coming out, and I really appreciate all of you guys coming out to say hello. 76 of you right now. Jeez, thank you so much. Am I going to cover the Chechen wars? Yes, I am. Yeah, I was just reading like the Wikipedia articles on the Chechnyan wars right before the stream started. So, anyways, that is enough of me. I think that you guys all know that this stream is always improved by when we get the Queen of the North in here. And I just realized that the last time that we had Mia on the show, she was coming on via her phone. So it's in like the 9:16 aspect ratio. So I'm going to have to fix it real quick. But I'm going to get her on the phone. But just like it'll take a second for me to set up her screen so that she doesn't look like she's a TikTok. Oh my, hello.
Are we operational or are we working?
Yes, I just what's it called? Your setup is so much more fancy.
I know. I finally got it to work with my fancy camera.
You finally rotated PDF.
I finally rotated PDF for Discord. Took long enough, but it works.
I am currently just doing a quick PDF rotation so that I can get you... Because I was saying, the last time that you were on here was at Christmas time when you were coming on via your phone. So I have to change it, or else I said, I don't want you to look like a TikTok.
That's fine.
All right, and here we go. You're here. You're on the things. Mia's volume is a little low. I can fix that. Crank that volume. There we go. All right. Try talking now.
I can crank my own volume. If need be, I can crank my own volume.
You're good. You're good. You're now at a similar level to me. So, I guess I should start by asking you a question that lots of people ask me when I go into their houses, which is, who are you and what are you doing here?
I am esteemed YouTube historian expert and award-winning YouTuber Mia Mulder, and I have invaded your home to make sure that we together as award-winning internet journalists can crack the case of whatever discourse is happening on the internet right now.
Yes. Oh, I do have to say that congratulations are in order, because since the last stream you hit 100,000 subscribers and now you are a fellow play buttoneer.
This is true.
In fact, let me just check something real quick, because I have a suspicion that now... Oh, no, it's close. I was like, I bet you've almost passed me in subscribers, but you're close. You're very close.
I passed you. It's gonna take a while, but here it is.
Nice.
The proof that I actually matter and have worth.
When I got mine, I remember saying that like it was my first what's it called? It was the first award I had ever won in my life since a participation trophy from T-ball when I was in kindergarten. So I'm like, I got like participant trophy from when I was like 5 years old and the play button, which just shows how much I accomplished in my young life.
I feel like I had something similar. Like the last award I got before this was, I think, also like a participation certificate or some shit. Maybe an edible medal from like school Olympics.
Nice. Well, it's very good. I am very excited to be talking to you again because we haven't chatted much beyond just our regular sending each other memes for months, and so this will be good. We have so much discourse to happen. First of all, congratulations on joining NATO. It feels real good. Giving up on centuries of neutrality.
Yeah.
How like what's
We're
it
not there
like?
yet? No, like next time we do this stream, no joke, we might be in NATO.
Yay! As a person who is in a country that has long been an American lapdog, how does it feel to be joining the lap?
It feels okay. It feels like we've been here already for a while. Like it feels like we're already been in the house. We're already like halfway there, and it feels nice to like finally completely leave all pretense of being completely free and independent in our foreign policy and military decisions.
And I mean, there is the upside of Sweden now has a new renewable energy source in attaching a generator to Olof Palme rolling over in his grave.
Yes.
So now you can power the whole country.
Now we don't need to import like Russian gas anymore.
Yeah.
We can power all of Europe through this new accomplishment. So
in serious, the big thing that has happened since I had a baby was, I guess, war. I don't know. It sounds like every other week World War III is happening, and I'm like, okay, because like there was a time where like, okay, so there's a war happened, is happening, and I keep hearing like that like Vladimir Putin, like the fucking weird revanchist dictator of Russia, is going to start World War III any day now, and that like everyone's like we should start a no-fly zone because what we need to do is make this worse. Are we? You're right next to them. What's going on?
Well, what we're talking about here is very much like either we join NATO or you are personally like in Putin's like naked groin, giving him fellatio. So those are sort of the only two like political positions that exist here, and it's very much one of those positions of like we join NATO, and we hope Ukraine joins NATO, and then as far as I can tell, Swedish discourse hasn't gone further than that, except for like I feel like we're very much like in self-preservation stance right now. A lot of people, the people who take it super seriously are the ones who are also like basically advocating for just joining NATO as the only solution that exists, and everyone who's like, maybe we can vote on it, maybe we can have something else. Like the big EU skeptic, the big like NATO skeptic party of the left party that I'm part of, even they like super early into the discourse had to be like, because they had always been like no to NATO, right? And the entire electorate base for that party is also like does not want to join NATO, but even they had to be like, maybe we have to vote on it. At the very least, we could vote on it, because any other opinion here is like seen as heresy. Next to in the struggle to defeat Putin.
Yeah, because like a few days ago, I outlined the idea of my video to you, this Russia video I'm working on, and I was like, I put it out, and then I was like, I mean, it's going to be tough because I feel like because I haven't been on the internet in the last few months. that I have takes that have not been vetted by whether or not it's going to get me yelled at. And so I'm like threading this needle because like I've been watching like the jingoism on parade, like random people driving around with Ukrainian flags in their cars and stuff like that, and like basically like calls in the West to do actions that would essentially like to intentionally antagonize a nuclear power. And I'm like, this seems risky. This seems like risky business. But so my take is that Putin is bad, and that Putin is a product of, you know, decades of us fucking with Russia, and that now that he's done a thing that, you know, revanchist empires do when clinging on to power. We're now doing this kind of uncomfortable beating of the war drum that feels like, you know, the Iraq war times. And it's like,
Oh, for sure.
maybe we shouldn't be so jingoistic when we're dealing with a nuclear power. Like, it's been 30 years since the fall of the Soviet Union. We forget what dealing with nuclear powers is like. We're just used to a state of affairs where the U.S. just bullies any country it wants into submission. And it's like, maybe we should just cool that a little bit for this time.
I find that really interesting because I hear that a lot on Twitter, and I see that a lot of like in American media. That's the sort of discourse happening there. In maybe this is not like a European thing generally, but it's definitely like a Swedish thing. Over here, everyone is already sort of like, oh, we're not even drumming for war. We're like, a lot of people are already in the mentality that like we are currently at war, and the only like it's victory or death essentially. And I feel like maybe that's because we're closer. Because like I get news reports like pretty frequently now about like how Russia is like both threatening Sweden, invading our airspace, you know, like doing weird shit to like Swedish security, all of which is just like, you know, hammering more support to join NATO.
Yeah, this is the confusing thing, and this is what I kind of wanted to investigate with this video. Is like, I thought Putin was smarter geopolitically than this. Like this is
right?
like this is literally like this is freaking Germany invading Belgium all over again. Like,
Yeah.
just like, oh, you're
Just like, why would you do this?
it's like an unforced error that has like, I don't know, like that I'm curious about. But then yeah, understanding that we'll see. What's it called?
Yeah.
Learning about the 90s in Russia. I'm like, wow. Okay. Yeah. Now I can understand, like it's like, it feels like almost beat for beat, like, oh, this is the Weimar Republic. This is the Weimar Republic in the 30s.
We're definitely getting a lot of like echoes of like former historical patterns, which is why I'm like, because there came out like a report from the Times or something today about like Russian intentions for like Moldova, which is not fun because like they have like a pro-Russian enclave in Transnistria, right? And like any reasonable person in the world would be like, well, of course Putin would never escalate that far, like even like another country. But if the whole situation only exists because it's not rational, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm collapsing now, so that's fun.
I'm concerned what's happening with Putin. Like, what is his? Because like he does like I think that Crimea was like a calculated risk, and he knew, like, he's like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? The only thing I can think of is that the
chaos of the revolution, right?
Yeah, I think that the Ukrainian play was a like risk, like it was a gamble that he lost, and now he has to save face. But he's doubling down in like weird ways. I don't know. I'm gonna see where this goes. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's wild. And also, but the thing is, like, I haven't been on the internet, and so when I brought this up with Thought Slime, and he was just like, oh, Yeah, like there's a bunch of weird people on the internet who are like, oh no, Vladimir Putin, the like right-wing reactionary person who is like the leader of the vultures who tore apart the People's Project of the Soviet Union, he's actually the representative of leftism and anti-imperialism everywhere. And I'm like, isn't he the guy who literally like took an independent republic called, or a semi-independent republic called Chechnya and unindependented it?
Yeah. Like that's also been like, because yesterday was May Day in Sweden, right? And God, if not every sort of like, because the left party leader here in Sweden had like a speech talking about like how Putin is a like far right wing nationalist extremist, which he objectively is, and like half of the entire Swedish establishment just like, well, Russia is actually leftist, actually. And just like, does no one remember the fall of the Soviet Union? Like, I thought that people at least knew basic history, but like this entire crisis, I guess, has shown us that people don't know shit.
Yeah, the 90s was a period where the Russian government, which was just run by the people who basically couped the government in 1991, just took all of the infrastructure the Soviet Union spent decades building and just handed it out to their friends. And then they all just became hyper billionaires.
Well, that's leftism, of course.
That's leftism. I mean,
this is what the left wants.
This is the same people who are probably defending China, another famously communist country that is led by a communist party that has several mega billionaires and giant corporations and stuff. So it's a thing. Oh, by the way, thank you so much, Bry the Fry Guy, great name, for subscribing with Prime. And thank you for a totally different username resubscribing at Tier 1. Thank you so much. You guys are great.
Nice.
But yeah, so I know that like people have been wanting my Russia takes, and my Russia takes are that I have not been watching the news because I have a 4-month-old baby that has occupied all of my time.
Fair.
For example, today he decided... Baby decided that 5:30 a.m. is a normal time to wake up for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when my day started.
A baby after my own heart. I have noticed since you had a baby, there's like in the middle of the night.
My posting.
Your time, like I'll wake up at like 8, 9 a.m. or whatever, and I'll check my phone. And I'll see you sending me like TikToks at that time, or like funny meme pictures, and just like baby. You're up all night.
Yep. We're getting to the point where he only wakes up with one interruption.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. So we kind of have a rule where I feed him before he goes to bed, and I take him when he wakes up in the morning, no matter what time that is, and then Kelly gets the midnight or whatever 4 a.m. feeding. So it's fun. We're doing it. He is. I have no bias. I'm perfectly objective, but he seems to be the strongest, cutest, and smartest baby to have ever existed. So that's interesting. Just happen to luck out on all those categories.
Just happened like when you play Crusader Kings 3 and you just max out all the scores.
Yeah, I just got the hyper genius, like all the inheritable traits, baby.
Weird.
I have a interesting thing. I have some questions.
Oh shit.
People submitted them, and I made a whole. I got really into Notion while I was on break, and so I've been Notion. It is a program. It is a website that when you pay for it, it will take over your life. It's a way of like organizing notes and stuff like that. But it is
That's dangerous. This is dangerous. I'm looking it up right now, and this seems like it would be very helpful for my ADHD brain. And holy shit. Oh, this is dangerous. This is dangerous stuff. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just putting in some late submissions right now. But yeah, I've set up a whole system so that I have fixed all of the problems I think I have of making things expire when I want them to expire, and Also, my other hope, which was to get an anti-spam filter, so that if you submit tons and tons of questions, you don't just like spam the system.
Oh, nice.
So I now and now it does it all automatically, so I can just put in my data, put in the questions, and then I just have a list of question to read. So I'm just putting in the last submission while we do this, and then we will talk. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna check up my. Yeah.
So the first question we got here comes from Oranjaman. As I said, that apparently it looks Swedish or looks Dutch, but as we've learned, Dutch is a fake language made as a practical joke. So, have you seen the meme going around of Hitler dude know it or whatever?
I think I posted that.
You did?
Yeah.
Hitler dude.
I don't know if I made it like spread around or anything, but I posted something about like my dialect the other day.
Is that real or is that a meme?
No, that text is real. It is Afrikaans though, and Afrikaans is it's like a distinct version of Dutch that they speak in South Africa.
Yes. Okay. Well, we have to start with the important, hard-hitting questions that hit everything, which is, can you rank the chiefs of security in Star Trek about whether or not they count as bastards? So I'm going to. I gotta get myself a list of all the Star Trek shows.
It's the same. I'm doing that too.
Because there are a lot of them now. Okay. Okay, who is the security chief in TOS?
Malcolm Reed.
No, the original show.
Oh,
the
sorry.
60s show.
That's Sulu.
Sulu? I thought Sulu was the pilot.
Oh, Chekhov, of course. Sorry, Chekhov.
I thought Chekhov was the guy who was navigator of the guns. I feel like they were a little bit loose in the things back then. Okay.
Yeah, I think Chekhov is the one. Yeah, Sulu is a security chief in the Mirror universe.
Yeah. Then we've got, for TNG, we've got Worf, but then we've also kind of got, what the hell's her name? The person who died, who got killed by an oil slick in season 1. Tasha Yar.
Yeah.
So they got 2 for that. All right. Then DS9, we've got Odo.
Yeah. Voyager, we have Tuvok.
Yeah, Tuvok. And then Enterprise, we got Malcolm Reed.
Yes. And then Discovery has 3 different ones.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it starts with Ellen Landry, I think is the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that was the one who got killed by the tardigrade, right? Early in the show.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I haven't watched Discovery like enough times to actually remember basically anything.
I'm trying. Okay.
I'm a bad Trekkie.
Discovery
Tyler,
is hard to keep a track of who is in charge of anything because they change the cast so much.
Right. Like it doesn't seem like as much of a cast-based show as the other Star Trek ones, because the cast changes and positions move around.
The last season was them throwing people off to start their own shows, and then also figuring out who's going to be the main cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it took Next Generation a couple of seasons to figure it out too. So
yeah.
Anyway, Ash Tyler was also security chief for a bit. And then we have Commander Denon, or something.
Commander Denon. Let me see who that. I feel like
the one with the metal thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, she's not bad. Okay, but then we've got. Okay, so Picard doesn't really have one because it's not a ship show. Lower Decks has got. It's got that Bajoran guy. What the hell is his name? Shax
and Kayshawn.
Shax and Kayshawn, right. Okay, and then we've got. So Prodigy is not really a show, or not really a ship show. It doesn't have the same things. And Strange New Worlds doesn't air until Thursday. So I think that we got them all. So, all right. The best way I think to do this is to just go down one by one and see where we can put them. So right now the list is just going to be Chekhov. Would we put Worf above or below Chekhov? I say above. Because Worf is like... I feel like Worf's going to win this, but either way. But also, is Chekhov a bastard?
No. A little bit.
He's not a very fleshed out character in general, so...
Exactly, so... Very, like, amoral.
Mm-hmm.
Worf is more of a bastard than Chekhov, I think.
Yeah. Worf's bastardom kind of changes depending upon what he's doing. Tasha Yar, where do you put her between Worf and Chekhov?
I would put her lowest of all, because
by sheer screen time.
She became a bastard to escape bad circumstances on her home planet.
It's true, and I guess she gets some points for doing the what's it called? Sacrificing herself in the whole time loop thing.
Yeah, she did a lot of like interesting stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Still but not as much as other people. I feel like she's very like selfless, and also she fucked Data, which is like good points.
Good points. Who wouldn't? Okay, next we got Odo. Odo definitely wins in the bastard department. He was like literally like a fucking Gestapo for the Cardassians. But I think that there's got to be a lot of points because you love Odo despite the fact that he's a fascist, which is the weirdest thing to say.
I don't see him like as much as a fascist, or I see him more as a sort of like private eye detective who's like that kind of cop. So less Gestapo, but more like private investigator style. But he's definitely still a cop because he's like the only security chief who's actually like a straight up cop.
Yeah, and like he's also not like he's like a dirty cop. Like he like blatantly breaks the law in order to, and like just ropes in people who he just has a gut feeling about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would put him, but still he's such a good character. Can I put him? I'm going to put him in second place below Worf because Worf kind of is so good. Oh, that's the other thing that I want to see addressed. So Worf, so they're doing their season 3 of Picard. They're doing like kind of a reunion of the whole cast, and they're bringing Worf back. And I'm like, is Worf going to be a Discovery Klingon? Like, are they going to pitch shift him down and have him have that like? Because I feel like that's a riot. They're gonna cause a riot if they do that.
Yeah, they have to have him look the way he does. There's no other choice.
Well, but also like stage makeup is improved, so maybe they'll zhuzh it up a little bit. Like they did kind of the Ferengis.
I think they'll pretty him up a bit, but I don't think it's going to be like radically different to what we know and love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm curious what they'll do with Worf's design for a in a period where you can make the kind of makeup that Saru has on Discovery. What they'll do with a Worf makeup.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Because like the thing is like Worf was always so stern and robot and stuff because it was so hard to emote with his face. Mm-hmm. That's why one of my favorite like little Star Trek stories is that like when they were giving one of the actors sort of like a rundown on how to be a Klingon, like how to deal with the makeup and stuff like that. They're like, you have to overdo everything. Like you have to overdo the mouth and the eyes and everything like that. And they said that to the guy who was then going to go play Gowron, and he just like put on the crazy eyes.
Took it and went with it.
Yeah,
it worked. Gowron is like the most memorable Klingon character, except for Worf.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
How about Tuvok?
Tuvok
is, in my opinion, the most bastard.
And also but the thing is that he's a Vulcan with like mean girl energy. Like he is the most bitchy member of Voyager. Like I don't know if you like when I rewatch the show, I'm like, oh my god, this guy is the biggest bitch. Like he is like he has like he's a very much like the passive aggressive person.
Yeah.
Like I loved the one where he becomes an accidental novelist because he just assumed that the Maquis are gonna do a coup, so he just like made a whole thing.
Oh yeah, he made a whole holodeck like novel thingy. Yeah, I remember
But
that.
then also becomes kind of, and he's like, it's just a training module, I don't care about it. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna run with it. And he's like, well, if you're gonna do that, then I don't trust you to do it.
I'll have to do it better.
Him and Neelix, oh man. Okay. So yeah, where do we put the Regina George of Star Trek on this list?
Oh, number one, like the most bastard.
He is the most bastard, yes.
Most bastard.
Yeah. Where do we put him on, like, just like the sheer ranking? I'd say he's like,
honestly, like,
sorry?
he's interesting, but he like, I think it's sort of like some mid tier on like general likability.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause,
putting
like,
him.
Odo, Worf, like there are other characters who like top him. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm putting him below, between Tasha and Chekhov at this point.
That sounds good.
Malcolm Reed is next, or known as Literally Who. Never heard of this person ever. Or no, I watched the show and I still like. The only thing I know him now is that the guy who played Malcolm Reed went to go do a voiceover for Diablo 3 and like really chewed it up and was like, "You are a Templar, Jonda," and that like became a meme in like early Diablo 3 stuff.
God bless.
And it was also the one that they tried to very hard to give him a case of the not gays, even though the actor who played him was like, "Oh, I played him as super gay," despite the fact that like they were trying so hard to make him not gay.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who was allergic to pineapple. That's all I remember about him. So bottom tier, F tier.
Very F tier.
Ash Tyler, the jury's out. So Ash Tyler was the one who turned out to be a Klingon.
Yes.
And he's now going to do the sort of like probably the Star Trek show I'm the most dreading, which is going to be this CIA apologia show that I thought was dead, but apparently is still being developed.
Is it still?
Yeah.
Hasn't it been in development hell in that case? Because it has been like upcoming for years.
Yeah, I thought that Strange New Worlds basically killed it, but I guess not. So
I mean, I'm down to it. I'm down for it.
But Ash Tyler is going to be part of the regular cast of it, and I'm kind of, the thing is like, I put Ash Tyler, so Ash Tyler gets like huge asshole points because basically all of the lines that he said about Section 31 were basically just like a way that a modern day liberal would support the CIA. And
Yeah,
Section
sure.
31 are fash. I think we all know this. So
Yeah. So he's high on the bastard, low on likability.
yeah, I'm putting him below Malcolm Reed.
Yeah.
That could change though if Discovery gets better, if whatever the Section 31 show does with them is better. Have I watched Picard season 2? Yes, I am enjoying it, but I am learning that I have a very low standard of likability because I've been liking everything and everyone gets mad at me for it. So I liked Picard season 1 even though everyone else seemed to hate it. So all right, Danon, the one who breathes with like the thing. She's kind of cool. She's low on the bastard scale and reasonable on the likability scale, but not rememberability scale. Because obviously I didn't remember who she was. But I don't know the names of like half the characters on Discovery, so that's a thing. She's the one who left for a while to go see her planet in the 31st century or whatever. It's really hard to follow that show.
I don't remember shit, honestly.
So I remember her because she like breathed through an apparatus and then they had an incident where it got torn off in that episode where they killed that kind of cyborg character off in season 2. Do you remember there was like this woman in season 2 who was like really, really, really cyborged out because she had like super bad brain damage and she couldn't remember anything. So she had to actually like have like a cybernetic memory.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then in season 2, Danon like was like on a mission with her when she like got hacked by the evil AI that Section 31 made. And then they thought she was dead, but she wasn't. And then she ended up going to the future and being like, I'm going to go see my people. Because they had a whole episode where, like, a bunch of her people were, like, on a ship or something. I don't know. I say above Malcolm Reed, below Tasha Yar.
Yeah. Something like that. I honestly don't remember some of these people.
Now, Shaq's middle on the bastard scale, but high on awesome scale. I'm putting him... I honestly want to put him above... I want to put him in number 3, above Chekhov. Did you ever watch... have you watched Lower Decks?
I watched season 1, part of season 2. I finally got the sort of... What's it called? Like, Paramount
Plus
Plus bullshit. So I can do that, but I honestly haven't been...
Well, this shirt is from that is merch from Lower Decks. Since some people were asking if it was a Doritos shirt, it is not. It was a play on the there was an episode where they had the disco, or like the play on the disco shirts from Discovery, where they made a Doritos shirt. Anyways,
yeah,
Shax was the very angry, very like loud Bajoran guy who ends up, spoiler alert, blowing up at the end of season 1.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like I guess I've been just too busy because like so many things have been just like so non-memorable to me.
Remembering
like,
things is difficult.
Trek, you know.
There's too much new Star Trek. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to watch it again, Shax is amazing, and he is in season 2 as well. And so like yeah, I'm putting him high, but and the other one is Kayshawn, who is I think he's like supposed to be the first of the he's of the Darmok and Jalad species.
Oh yeah.
And he's like,
well, that explains why his character looked like that on Memory Alpha. The Children of Tama, fun.
I forgot that this is where Shax wins, because his line was, fighting fascism is a full-time job. I forgot that that's a line he said, and that puts him pretty high up.
That's fun.
Because I think he's like a Bajoran resistance veteran or something like that. Okay.
Like, I gotta rewatch this. This is. I mean, like, it all sounds very good, but who has the time?
Yeah, there's too much TV now.
Yeah.
All right, Kayshawn.
Media when Ukraine was invaded.
Yeah. The internet when. Oh man. I love it. I have.
Content.
Yeah, I've heard. So I did hear that Putin did a weird thing where he said something along the lines of like, I'm being cancel cultured like J.K. Rowling, because he's like invading country. I'm like, what fucking universe do I live in right now? Where like the dictator who's invading a country who's like, I'm being cancel cultured. I mean, he has as much of a case as anybody else who's claimed cancel culture for the most part. So he's just like, I'm being canceled, just like J.K. Rowling. And all I did.
The entire nation of Russia is being canceled.
Oh, that was a bra moment, for sure. All right, we gotta finish this up. Kayshawn. Kayshawn hasn't had a whole lot of time to be awesome, and he got replaced pretty fast. So I kind of want to put him. I'm gonna put him below Tasha Yar here. So here's the tier list. I guess I got here. Number 1 is definitely Worf. And we got number 2 Odo, and then number 3. And number 3 is Shax, fighting fascism as a full-time job. Then we've got Chekhov, then Tuvok, then Tasha, then Kayshawn, then Danan, then Malcolm Reed, and then at the bottom is Ash Tyler.
Ash Tyler is in the bottom.
He's only been in Discovery, and only during Discovery's very awkward seasons. So
yeah.
Because I think that, like, despite the fact that I'm endeared to Discovery, Discovery had an awkward start. It went through 3 showrunners in its first 3 seasons.
I'm hoping that now that they've sort of done their time reset and, like, figured out what the fuck they want to do, maybe they can actually get somewhere, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, the new seasons have been fun. Like, I'm enjoying it. Ever since when they did the, time jump to the future, I have been enjoying it. But then again, as I'm learning, I enjoy things that apparently I'm not supposed to, because everyone hates a lot of stuff in, like, what's it called? Everyone's hating Picard, and I'm liking that show.
Wait, what, are people still hating Picard?
Yeah.
Still haven't seen season 2, but like it was a good show.
Yeah, I do love that.
Season very good.
The actor who played Icheb in Voyager turned into like a MAGA chud, so they just killed him off in Picard.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Did he for real turn into a MAGA chud?
Yeah. So they recast him for one scene where he just gets killed by these weirdos who are like harvesting Borg parts from ex-Borgs.
I remember that part, yeah. I do kind of wish they could have just stuck with the recast, because I do like Icheb as a character, and I feel like it's kind of like
he just became the tragic backstory for 7 of 9.
Yeah. I don't hate it though. Like, it is what it is. It's a show.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I feel like there's going to be some drama that comes up soon, because in the last episode of Picard, there's a reference that Seven tried to join Starfleet, and that Starfleet turned her down for being an ex-Borg, and that Janeway like went to bat for her and nearly resigned over it. And so I'm like, and actual Janeway is supposed to be in the second half of Prodigy's new season, so we'll see where that goes.
There are so many.
Prodigy is the kids show on Nickelodeon that has Kate Mulgrew playing like a hologram teacher version of Janeway. But then at the end of at the mid-season finale thing, they showed that like Janeway is looking for them, or is like hunting it down or something. So
I really am happy that there is more Star Trek being made. Like, I am genuinely like happy, good. It's so much though, and because every single show has its own overarching narrative that like takes a long time. Mm-hmm. You can't just sit down and like watch an episode and sort of like take it in chunks. You sort of have to sit down and like binge a whole season for it to make sense.
Yeah.
I don't got time for that. Who got time for that? I don't got time.
That's why I'm kind of looking forward to this new show that's starting up this week, because Strange New Worlds it's supposed to be like much more like the opening theme, even, or the opening credits looks like a sort of like a 90s Star Trek show feel. And it's supposed to be a lot more of like the sort of story of the week, more upbeat and fun Star Trek adventure.
That's good. Apparently, it's gonna come out in like 3 days. Apparently, holy shit.
Yeah, because the finale of Picard is coming out on Thursday, and they are doing the premiere of Strange New Worlds the same day.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, basically the idea is that for the foreseeable future, there will be a Star Trek every Thursday, sometimes 2.
That is wild.
But
okay. I am glad that it is happening. This pleases me greatly.
Yeah.
I think tonight I'm just gonna have to like watch like Picard or something to catch up on that one, because that's like one of the big ones that are still like in the chronology that I'm familiar with.
There is one weird thing about this new era of Star Trek, though, that I am finding it just sticks out as more and more weird the more it happens, is that it seems like there is a surgical D Space Nine sized hole in all of the stuff they call back to.
Right. Oh, you're so right. They're referencing everything except Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, they like seem to pretend as if the show never happened.
Do you know why I think that is? Because it's the good one.
It's either so there's a couple reasons I could think of, which is one, that the people who are calling the shots aren't fans of the show, which means they're wrong.
Which means they're insane, yes. 2,
they're like internal metrics say that people like Deep Space Nine the least, which I have heard from some weird parts of the world, that that Deep Space Nine is sort of the redheaded stepchild of the shows in some ways.
I mean, it definitely is. Like, it's not ship based. It's a lot more like outspoken, like political, and it tells very different stories than many of the other shows. That's why it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why it's good. That's why it's the best Star Trek.
Yeah, so that it could be that their metrics say that that's not the one that they want to go with, which, like, okay. Three, there was a reference. So there was rumors at one point that they were talking with Avery Brooks about starting a new show that fell through because he insisted on hiring Cirroc Lofton for the show as well, and they didn't want to do that for whatever their idea was. Cirroc Lofton was the person who played Jake Sisko. Because if anyone doesn't know, Avery Brooks is like his like big selling point for that show was that he got to do the whole father-son thing. But that so that they were holding back on stuff because they wanted to make sure that deal went through. And four, and so like those are the main ideas that I think they could go through. Like, I've heard that apparently there was long talks about what Worf's life has been, or how Worf dealt with the sort of trauma of the Dominion War. Apparently is going to be a thing. So Worf is going to be the first sort of tendril from Deep Space Nine to happen in modern times.
Yeah, they have to, right? Because like he's a significant part of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
like the late bits. So
another funny thing that people thought happened but didn't happen. So in a recent episode of Picard, there's an episode where Picard's seeing a therapist, like a counselor, who is played by I don't know what the actor's name is, but he's the guy who played Gaius Baltar in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh shit!
And everybody thought. But everyone thought he was Alexander Siddig because they look kind of similar, and so everyone thought it was Bashir.
They do kind of look similar. I granted, yeah. Especially like aged up a little bit, and you haven't seen any of them in a while. Like I can see it.
If you look at old Alexander Siddig, like him in like modern day, he does look a lot more like Gaius Baltar did. So, but they did say they would come back as long, which would be great. I don't know, like what's it called? Just get Ira Bear, get Bluebeard himself to make more show. He'll do something. Yeah. He'll do something good.
I do like that it's. I get the feeling that, like, I feel like the people who are like behind Star Trek and like own Star Trek have held off so long on making new Trek stuff until the new Star Wars sequels were made. And have sort of like been watching for like, okay, what are the mistakes? What are the big things that people think they need but don't actually need? And just like, because a lot of the sort of vibes that I get is very like Star Warsian almost, which like for good and for bad, and I feel like that is that's a good thing for Star Trek because it means it doesn't feel like a first draft, even if Discovery felt a little bit like that in the beginning.
I do think that these shared television universes on streaming shows is a much better model for these like big franchise type projects than movies are. And so I have a feeling that that because Star Trek was already doing that in the 90s, that it sort of is a good fit for everything. Like now they're trying to make Star Wars be a TV show franchise, and it's like I don't know, it's its own thing. But yeah, I think it's gonna work. I think that Deep Space Nine will happen. I feel like that they're not going to be ignoring it because Q does. And the other thing too that's really funny is just that this is so our stream because our question and answer stream has turned into a long digression about Star Trek, which just feels very on brand. It's good to be back.
We've been talking for 4 hours about Star Trek.
Yep. So yeah, so I feel like I don't know, it's gonna work. It's gonna work in some fashion. I feel like we're gonna get some Deep Space Nine soon. In the future.
Be better.
Because Picard is ending after season 3, which I have mad respect for. They know how to let a show end when it should end.
Good.
And
especially if they're going to do like more shows after that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
But we need Quark.
We need Quark, yeah.
We need more Ferengis. hanging out.
Yeah, although I don't want to ruin my headcanon that Rom basically started a communist revolution in the Ferengi culture, and that by the 31st century they're basically tankies. Like they're like this Stalinist hyper collective empire.
Okay, but don't you want to see that though? Like that, I need to see.
Comrade Negus.
Comrade Naked. Chairman Rom of the
Chairman Rom. Oh my god.
of the United Socialist Republics of Ferenginar.
This is the best. This is the best headcanon of all time. Because remember how he had that episode where he was quoting Lenin, so I have a feeling like
he was quoting like Lenin and Marx, right?
Yeah.
Like this fucking short ass actor in Ferengi sci-fi makeup with lights flickering behind him, just like workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you manage to publish this on TV?
Yeah, this is why Deep Space Nine was the best show, because it had stuff like that. It's like it's scenes like that, and the scenes like a woman in a bikini, like emerging from a vat of mud in a random episode that belonged to Morn.
And they just open his quarters and just like
there's just a hot tub full of mud, and there's a woman in it.
Yeah, Morn fucks.
Morn fucks.
Canonically, he fucks.
Yeah, I remember Jadzia carried a torch for him for a bit. She liked all the hairs on his head, the little 3 hairs. God. So good.
Good show.
Chairman, yeah. Okay, so second question. Okay, this is when we kind of danced around a bit earlier, too. Where did it go? Oh, it's down there. Never mind. Okay. Hey Mia, would you be down for a Victoria 2 Divergences of Darkness stream? It's a fun mod and you get to be the true Queen of Scandinavia from the get-go.
That's true. I have played Divergences of Darkness for Victoria 2. And
what is this?
I am very familiar with the mod. So, okay, Divergences of Darkness is a mod for Victoria 2 where there are so many divergent timelines. It's an alternate history Victoria 2 mod. But and there are many like differences in the timeline. But the main
like
one,
Victoria Kaiserreich, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. So the main big change is that England and France never divided. Their kingdoms are sort of united. So there's a whole new culture that's like mixed between French and English.
Terrifying. The worst possible thing.
Yeah. Scandinavia has formed and controls Scotland. The colonization of the Americas obviously went very different. Like there's all of California is controlled by the Chinese. There like other empires hanging around. I think the whole Roman Empire is still around technically, because Napoleon never happened. And God, I need to look at that. It's a wonderful Divergences of Darkness. I need to look at the map to understand what I'm looking at. Russia has never united. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth is still around. For example.
That might be like the alternate historian's favorite thing.
It's a really good. Spain, like another thing is also like Spain, instead of like uniting with Aragon, united with Portugal. So Aragon is still like around and shares like a lot more cultural similarity with the Italians. So you can form like Aragon, Italy, basically. The Kalmar Union is like I think the Kalmar Union never broke up. Like there's so many different things. It's a great mod. I can't really play Victoria 2 though because I'm waiting for Victoria 3, and when I wait for a sequel, it sort of taints me to play the previous one. But I'm looking forward to it.
That's the paradox, which is that they're always announcing the new thing, and it makes you just lose all desire to play the game that's actually in front of you. I am currently my Paradox playthrough right now is Stellaris, where I'm playing as a group of genocidal butterflies.
That's nice. We should play Stellaris together sometime.
We should. It'd be fun.
Speaking of nothing. Yeah, my thing is I'm playing. I'm using the new culture thing in Crusader Kings 3. So I've made House Targaryen because I'm in a Game of Thrones binge right now, and I've made a brand new culture, which is a mix of Norse and Welsh, and I call it the Valyrian.
Cursed.
And I'm conquering the world. I'm conquering the Isles.
There's a great episode. Do you know the Spiffy Brit YouTube channel?
Yes.
The one where he played that Crusader Kings 3 and made a hybrid culture of like Indian and Norse to make like elephant riding Vikings.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
You can go pretty wild with that system.
Yeah, I love that. I love that Crusader Kings 3 is going with the like making things more modular and open to dynamism, which makes every play go through its own sort of weird cycles instead of like a lot of my problems with Paradox games in the past have been like there's so much like actual history that they want to hard code into the game that sometimes doesn't make sense in the context of the game that is happening. And Crusader Kings 3 seems to be moving away from that in a big way, which I like a lot. It's more systemic, and I like that a lot more. I hope.
That's something that, like, from what I've read about like Victoria 3, I feel like that's a sort of vibe that's going to continue in future Paradox games. Like I think they realize that people want to sort of make new history, entirely new history, instead of necessarily like alternate history, where like there are a few like predetermined paths that you could like explore.
Yeah, like I remember in Victoria 2, like the American Civil War is hard-coded into the game. You can't not have it happen. Or you can't have it happen in different ways or things like that. And it's like, oh, that sucks. I'm looking forward to it. My first goal is get good at the game. And then second goal is to play the Haitian global empire of what's it called? Emancipation. Just invading all the countries and releasing all the slaves.
The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stream it, obviously, and I'm going to I'm gonna do the legendary Krakow to Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth game that is impossible to do almost in Victoria 2, and I want to repeat it in Victoria 3.
Nice.
But this time it's ultra communist.
Yeah. Someone said the butterflies want to genocide other butterflies or people. They are, what are those things called? They're called, like, fanatic purifiers or whatever it's called. Like, they're the ones that do no diplomacy. They just want to eradicate all other life in the galaxy, basically.
Mm-hmm. Those are fun.
But butterflies? Yeah, I just chose a random empire, and that's what I got, so it's been great. All right. Why do criticisms of Ukraine, NATO, and Poland, etc., feel weird even when valid?
Because a lot of people are very hard-coded thinking in terms of good and bad. And right now, Russia bad, which means opponent good.
Yes. That's sort of the thesis of my new video is like the consent manufacturing machine is going real hard to build a good guy, bad guy narrative about what's going on. And it is... While like I'm not a supporter of any side of that conflict, it's just it's gross. It's leading to some really not healthy thinking. Okay, so we hit Paradox games and we hit Star Trek, so I think we're good. I think we have made
We really are back on track for Monday Discourse.
Yeah. All right. First of all, welcome back to the Monday Discourse. Thank you, Prim. Much appreciated. You're awesome. I have missed it, and I'm glad you're all back. Yeah! Second of all, now that Elon Muskie Husky has bought Twitter, does that mean that both of you are going to migrate to Mastodon at some point? So Elon Musk bought Twitter.
He hasn't yet, though. He just said that he will.
They accepted his bid. So I think now it has to go through regulatory stuff. So as far as I know, his intention is basically to privatize it and then let all the Nazis come back on. That's basically like his whole thing. Like,
yeah.
like, I don't know, taking Twitter off the NASDAQ. Sure, why not? But like, yeah, when it comes to Elon Musk, there's always a big gap between what he actually does and what he says he's going to do. So what Twitter ends up becoming because he bought it, I don't know. Or he'll end up saying that he'll buy it and then not actually buy it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they have accepted his bid. And if all we get is Donald Trump gets allowed back on Twitter, well,
yeah, I don't think I don't think too much is gonna happen. I think, yeah, like, you know, some restrictions are gonna go away and harassment is gonna get infinitely worse, and the platform will eventually die. I feel like that's basically what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I had a long discussion the other day about what, like, because Twitter's become such like a integral part of the way that we interact with, like it's such a unique social media platform that if it actually disappears, like, first of all, the nature of how a lot of people interact with the internet will change quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's sort of the lifeblood of information of the internet in a lot of ways. So I'm curious about where it will go. Yeah, will Elon let the ISIS guys back on? Good question. He wants to let you know, vanilla ISIS back on, but not.
I think what's gonna happen is, like, he's gonna remove a lot of restrictions, and then he'll have to come to terms with the fact that, like, those restrictions exist for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I guess then I think he's gonna have to, like, backtrack, but he's gonna call the backtrack sort of like Doge filters or some shit like that, Dogecoin filters.
Yeah.
And they're powered by NFTs, but it's just the same thing as before, but he's gonna spin it as a victory, being like, free speech is restored.
Ban everybody who puts pronouns in bio or something. But
Like
there is truly somebody did point out that the EU has warned him about what he plans on doing, because, like, for example, if he, like, lets all the Nazis come back on, then Twitter really can't legally be shown in Germany and stuff like that. So
yeah, the European Union has, like, a lot of regulations about, like, online moderation. It's like a lot of the Twitter rules that Twitter has isn't even just from Twitter. It's just the law.
Yeah, and I feel like if he wants Twitter to exist in Europe, then he would have to do stuff. And then, yeah, there is the thing that Trump said that he's not going to go back to Twitter because he's tied to Truth Social, his own Twitter platform that's just apparently his posts.
I think other people can have Truth Social, but I don't think anyone really does.
No.
Except for MAGA chuds.
I'll be honest, Twitter got a lot less funny when Trump got banned. He got banned for good reason, but when that email when that like email got sent out to his list a few months ago, that was like him talking about getting a hole-in-one, and, like, have you heard about this?
Yeah. He sent out, like, a mass email to be like a tweet.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay. This is an official statement from a former president that got sent out to, like, his people, like, to, like, his, like, mailing list, which is, like, you know, like it's supposed to be a thing. I gotta find the actual list because it's absolutely wild. Because he, like, sends out this email. He sends out this email to all the people that was like, here we go. So this is the actual wording. And it had the presidential seal on it, by the way. Many people are asking, so I'll give it to you now. It is 100% true. While playing with legendary golfer Ernie Els, one of the winner of 4 majors and approximately 72 other tournaments throughout the world, Gene Sowers, winner of the Senior U.S. Open, Ken Duke and Mike Goods, both excellent tour players, I made a hole-in-one. It took place at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida on the 7th hole, which was playing 181 yards into a slight wind. I hit a 5-iron, which sailed magnificently into a rather strong wind with approximately 5 feet of cut. Whereupon it bounced twice and then went clank is italicized, into the hole. These great tour players noticed it before I did because their eyes are slightly better, but on that one hole only, their swings weren't. Anyway, there's a lot of chatter about it. Quite exciting. There's like quite exciting, and people everywhere seem to be asking for the facts. Playing with that group of wonderful, talented players is a lot of fun. The match that Ernie and me with no strokes against Gene, Mike, and Ken. I won't tell you who won because I'm a very modest individual, but you will then say I was bragging, and I don't like people who brag. See, I kind of miss him being on Twitter when I hear things like that. Like his tweets were so stupid. It was wonderful.
He was so intense.
Yeah.
But also so funny.
So the question
so
is,
his eyes are only slightly worse than his competitors.
So are we going to go to Mastodon? Is Mastodon a thing that you want to do? So Mastodon's like the open source like thing.
Yeah, and they do ban Nazis.
Well,
like, proactively.
The thing about the thing about Mastodon is that it doesn't have moderators because it isn't like one thing. Like anybody can make their own instance of Mastodon. And you can like take different instances of Mastodon and make them all into one of your own feed. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I have Mastodon. I don't know how to log into it though. Like ever since Elon was gonna buy Twitter, I've gotten a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of emails being like, "Someone's followed you on Mastodon," and I'm like, "What? I don't know how to log into Mastodon. Don't know where it is. I don't know how to do it, but apparently I have it."
I had Mastodon. I think I still have it. I don't know how to use it. I'm not good at computers.
I can't rotate PDF.
No. I'm sure that what will happen is that if Twitter goes up in flames, there will be a thing that will be the obvious sequel to Twitter, and I will probably go to that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like it's all going to end up happening.
So the next question we got here is a question for both of us that says, "How are you doing?" Smiley face. Doing fine.
Doing fine. Like doing fine considering.
Yeah. How has what's it called? How has 2022 been treating you?
2022 has been treating me really well, actually.
You've had some hit videos.
I've had some hit videos. I'm progressing very well. I'm taking this month to make. I'm taking 2 months to make a video instead of 1 month to make a video. So, hopefully another banger is in the pipeline. Yeah, just same old. I've had a really good year, honestly, considering.
Sweet, that's good.
So
I told you it'd happen. I've been telling you that it was just a matter of time for you for years.
Hello?
Sorry? Can you not hear me?
Uh-oh.
Has Mia lost my audio?
Hello?
Hello? Uh-oh.
I can see that you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Am I coming through to the stream? I think Mia, you might have. Oh no. Hello.
Hello. Are we working?
I think so.
All right.
So we even got a technical problem in. We got everything. This episode had it all.
Finally, we're back. We're so back in our normal.
Yep. All we need to do is for my internet service provider to start fucking me over again, and then it's just all the things in one stream.
We're free.
But what I was saying when I got cut off was I've been saying for years that it was just a matter of time for you.
You have. I am hoping that it's gonna keep going. I'm like living in absolute complete fear of like being stagnated. Of like
You don't plan on having a baby or anything soon.
No, I'm gonna keep making stuff. I have like 4 secret projects ongoing right now. I've been working on like secret projects for like half a year, and I don't think any of them is actually going to be out for the public in like another 6 months. So like while I've been making my normal videos, I've also been working on like other shit on top of that. So it's been a lot of work, but I am hoping that like not only is this year gonna have a lot of good stuff in store, it's also going very well. So and I don't think I'm gonna stagnate as long as I keep making videos. Hopefully me taking 2 months to make a long video isn't going to be like YouTube just takes a gun out and shoots me in the face, because I haven't made a video in over 28 days. You know how YouTube, you know the anxiety when you don't make a YouTube video for like 28 days and YouTube just like, hey, seems like you have less viewers than normal. Interesting.
Where you been, buddy?
Hey, where you been?
Yeah, I've been trying to think about whether because I was kind of on the kick of make things when they're done and make them good and worthy of a lot of views, and then invest money. Like I've been hiring people to make my thumbnails, and I'm in the process of trying to hire an editor. But that actually has been taking me a lot longer than I have been. It's been hard to find one that works. So that's been a process, but my hope is that can happen because my time has been severely taken away, and it's just going to get taken more away because it turns out babies need 24-hour care, and my wife is the one that makes all the money in our household, so Tristan is the baby caretaker for the most part. My wife. And she's going back to work part-time this month, and we'll be back full-time next month. So I will be a full-time baby carrying person.
Fun.
And so I'm going to have to make videos during naps and weekends and nights. And we'll see where that goes. Overall, it's been a great year. Just for business-wise, channel-wise, been absolute disaster. I think I've lost something like almost 50% of my income from Step Back in the last 4 months because of stuff. So
from Patreon, by the way?
Patreon, I've probably lost about a third to 40% of my Patreon, and then my AdSense has shrunk by almost 75%. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's very fun.
I know the feeling. Don't beat yourself up about the Patreon though. I had an anxiety thing 2 months ago or something, because I was losing patrons, right? And then another YouTuber contacted me and was like, hey, do you notice how do you deal with Patreon anxiety when you lose patrons? And that got me thinking. So I went to a website called Graphtreon, where you can start look at everyone's statistics for Patreon. It's complete mind poison. But I went there to check a lot of YouTubers, and so many people, basically every single person within lefty tube spaces, unless they have been growing dramatically in the last couple of months, they're all going down, across the board. And it's the same thing that happened when COVID began, it's the very first year of COVID, because everything went down then, and then things stabilized for a little bit, and then everything went down again now. So it's not
stonks.
Industry wide, it's not stonks. The economy is in shambles, because it turns out that war, bad for business, as they say.
I should have guessed that it was stonks.
Yeah, because I've noticed that too. I've had significant, I've had bangers of videos, right? And I've gotten multiple new patrons, and I had great videos, a significant amount of growth in the last couple of months, and I've been stable. Usually I grow, but I've been stable, and that's I'm uniquely happy about that, because initially I was oh shit, I'm having trouble. Everyone's having trouble. Everyone, even huge Twitch streamers who do politics stream, who have significant incomes from their Patreon, 50-60% in some cases. It's the economy's in shambles.
No, my stonks. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And the future, like, because like that's the other thing too, is that also it's doing a more competitive space. Like in the last, I feel like there's like a new generation of essayists that showed up in the either showed up in my recs in the last like little bit or in general. Like before 2022, I did not know who Zoe B was or Munecat or who else is another person I've been running into. Noah Feldman, is that his name? It's
very,
like,
very potentially, yeah.
and FD Signifier, like all these like new people just kind of appeared in my recommendations section. Might also help because I stopped all of my friends who have Nebula shows. I stopped watching them on YouTube, so they've stopped recommending me videos by those people. Because I've been watching them on Nebula.app.
I've also noticed that like a lot of like new essayists are sort of like I feel like there's a sort of like blurring of the lines now between sort of like left-wing spaces and sort of like general video essay spaces. So like you'll see people who talk about like DashCon, which is very interesting, right? But like that type of content is very different from the sort of content of lefty personalities. But I feel like there's becoming a sort of like blurring of the lines between those two spaces, and that's one reason I think that there's sort of like I'm also seeing like more like people coming around.
Yep, it's
like young people coming up and
becoming a saturated field, which means you gotta pivot, you gotta differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
It was so much easier in 2015 when you were just one of the 3 people who wasn't like a far right shitlord making videos.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Let's see. There's probably some more questions from people. Okay, this is a question for the record. Munecat is pretty fun, and Munecat has been like my like binge watch, as her videos are like an hour and a half long. So I just like watch those when I'm like taking care of the baby all day.
I haven't seen Munecat.
Munecat, she started as a like doing these like long analyses and like kind of like studies of multi-level marketing scams, but has sort of branched out into like did a big Gary V one, and did a most recent one was like a big one on Web 3.0 stuff. But is also, she's like a musician, and so she like writes original songs for all the videos, and they're very highly produced and like.
See, that's what dangerous to me, because I see a lot of like people, especially like younger video essayists who are like 10 years younger than I am, who are, you know, talented musicians and make really good video essays, and I get whenever I see that, I just get anxious.
Yeah, that's like that's called new H Bomber Guy video syndrome.
Yes, and I just get the only thing that happens is like I get like the old bitterness like that you have, right, for the youths, and I'm trying so hard to not be that way and support, but also I have brain rot.
People are asking for links for Munecat. I will put a link in the chat. But yeah, she's very fun. I think it's like she's like somebody who was like really, really small like a year ago, and is now like now pushing 200,000 subscribers soon. So like she's blown up.
Yeah.
I remember I had my big spike around the same time that Ordinary Things started taking off. If you remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like his rise to fame seemed to splash over to my channel, and I got a huge spike in subscribers from that thing. I don't know. It's a interesting process that happens. Okay, let's see. I'm sure everybody in the chat loves when we talk about business.
What do you mean? Everyone loves business talk. Surely everyone loves business talk.
Okay. Next question I got here comes from We're in Hell. Howdy dowdy, Sam. Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
I feel like if I have what's it called, drank at in your apartment, that I like you, yes. As I did like 6 months ago, or 5 or 6 months ago. Okay. For both, how did you know you wanted to study history instead of any other field? Ooh, yeah. How did you choose history as your major?
It was the only thing that I was good at high school, and then I was kind of lost after high school, so I didn't really know what to do. And my best friend, actually, she applied for the history program at Uppsala University, and I was like, that sounds fun. I'm gonna apply for that too. And I got in, and then at uni, I sort of like discovered my love for it.
Sweet. That's a good one.
I lucked into it.
My story is much more embarrassing. So everybody knows that I almost failed high school. I got a like D- average in high school.
Same.
Yeah. And then I went to this program that was designed for people who had poor grades in high school but wanted to upgrade so they could go to university. So I did that. And then when I was applying for that, I was like guaranteed thinking that I was going to be going to I was going to be going into sociology. So I was going to be a sociology major. You could just imagine what step back would look like in that case. And IOOP Salad University. Yeah, that's what it's called. Anyways. So what happened was the like kind of like Christmas break. Oh no, did we lose Mia's? She can't hear me again. Hello?
Oh, there we go. Okay, great. Sorry, my earbuds keep like disconnecting from Discord calls. I have no idea why. It's very
Oh
weird.
no. Well, you missed the amazing joke of and I oop Salad University. But yeah. So I was so Christmas break of the like time when I was probably putting in my application to university. That was when I got into hardcore history, the fucking Dan Carlin podcast. And I realized like it kind of like that listening to that was like, oh, it all clicked for me. I've had this fascination with history my whole life, and I just never thought that was a thing that I could do as a major. So then I took it as a major. I switched to that instead, and then I kind of just rolled with it. It was like one of the most dumb, arbitrary decisions I ever made, but it worked. I ended up going to grad school for it, so.
Hell yes. I feel like when people find like the thing that they like, right, then they're set.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it works.
Someone said they're struggling through a communications degree right now. Well, best on you. For some reason, I got hired once at a like actual real nonprofit because they thought that I was like, you know, able to do communications work because I had a YouTube channel. And I could not. I was absurdly bad at that job.
I feel like that happens a lot. I feel like.
Yeah, that's the thing is that if Step Back ever falls apart and I have to go find a real job, I'm either going to be completely unemployable because 3 years as a full-time YouTuber is not a real career thing to put on your resume, or they're going to assume I have a lot of qualifications that I don't. Like that I know how to social media or something.
No joke. I've been looking into sort of like taking classes for like getting social media certificates and shit.
Yeah.
Because like I like if someone asks me to like actually do anything real with social media, like I considered applying to like game companies as community managers and shit like that. Considered, and every time I consider doing it, just like I don't know how to do any of this shit. I make stupid videos for the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thinking about what comes after, like if you know, I don't know if obviously I probably I'll probably not be a YouTuber my whole life. And thinking about what comes after that, I have to like think about how to pivot. And I'm like, what transferable skills are there from what I've been doing for the last 3 years? And it's like, the answer is that it's really better if I don't think about it.
Motherfucker.
Oh no, we lost me again.
Oh, I fixed it.
Excellent.
If I just fuck around with the settings a little bit, it does reset, so that's good. Maybe the batteries are getting low. I don't know.
Possibly.
Sorry.
I was just saying is that my answer is to just not think about it and hope that YouTube just lasts forever and that I can compete with the Mune cats and the Zoe beasts of the world forever.
I live in fear. Because I am not going to be able to do that.
We'll see. That's life. But, yeah, I mean, I've been thinking more because Step Back is going to have to step back a little bit for the next few years until the baby's in, kindergarten or something. That if, like, I hope this channel can stay alive. If not, I'm going to have to go get a real job. And I'm like, what kind of a real job could I get? That's fun.
Yeah. I also live in fear. That's why that's part of the reason why I'm sort of trying to also branch into sort of like old media a little bit. This is part of the secret projects that I mentioned that aren't super public, but like I'm like slated to become like the host of a Netflix. No, sorry, not Netflix. God, I wish.
Netflix show.
God, I wish. Of a YouTube show made by like a company in Stockholm that like could have real funding and potentially real staff eventually, which in itself maybe could like lead somewhere else. That's the only way this is going to be a long-term survivability thing, because otherwise nah. Or like filmmaking, it's like I'm pulling so many threads just so something can survive.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to get rich, because that's how you survive in the industry, right? But if you don't get rich, you just live.
Yeah. I say like our jobs are very not recession proof, so we have to figure out what's up.
If everyone's poor, no one's gonna give to us on Patreon, which is like valid, and at least we can't get fired. But it's not very safe.
Yeah. And I got a baby I want to give everything to. Okay. But yeah, so I chose history arbitrarily because I realized that I liked it my whole life, but I never really even considered it as a major. And then I just when like literally when the drop down menu for what major to choose came up, I was like ready to click sociology, and then was like, actually,
History.
So the quick answer is don't listen to any advice Tristan makes about any career decisions, because that was not a smart thing for anybody to have done.
Any YouTuber or historian who gives you career advice does not know what the fuck you're talking about, and we are both of those things.
Yeah. The next question here is, how are the cats doing with the new baby? The answer is they kind of don't care.
I mean, that's good, I guess.
Like, okay, when he first came home, they were kind of interested in him. They were like looking at him and smelling him and stuff. But now they kind of act as if he doesn't exist. Although we have this sort of like playmat.
The cats, so
We have this playmat that one of the cats just lies on when he's not on it. And so it's like we're always like having to take the lint roller to it because it's covered in cat hair.
Oh.
But yeah, for the most part, he's been trying to pet one of the cats, but he can't, like, he literally is just figuring out how to grab things. So it's not exactly the most gentle of situations.
Yeah.
But the cats are very, very patient.
I feel like that's a good sign of a cat.
Yeah. He's more interested in them than they are in him.
Bless.
So, yeah. And he's still very much a baby, so he hasn't really, like, evolved into a person who can, like, intentionally interact with them. He can't even crawl yet. All right. Are we headed into a backlash period like the early 80s, or are we already in that? That's
we're
next.
mid in that.
Yeah. Like the 80, like the whole backlash thing about the whole. I think like we were. Like this is based on a theory from a book called Backlash, which is this idea that cultures go through periods of social progress followed by a backlash against that social progress. So like the social progress of the 60s and 70s was reacted to in the 80s, and that's why everyone was so conservative. If you were to say that the social progress, if you could call it that happened in like the 2010s, which, with Me Too and Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff, that was, modicums of social progress made in the 2010s. Now we're in a backlash of that. And the fact that every conservative politician is now talking about wokeism and cancel culture is a sign of that. So, yeah. See, that's the thing. Kevin Spacey missed out, because if he had just if all those accusations against him had come out 2 years later, he would have been victim of cancel culture.
Yeah. And he would have been fine. He would have kept his office space.
Yeah.
His office space. What am I talking about? Hold on.
His career.
Someone just turned off the light in my office. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
He would have been fine. He could have just Netflix is canceling me for removing me from House of Cards, and then he would have been fine. Thankfully, he's gone forever now. Hopefully, unless he makes a comeback on Fox, something.
You will see.
No, he can't, because what he did was.
He is part of the gay agenda.
Gay type, exactly. It was part of the gay type of bad, which means that the Republicans will never accept him.
Mm-hmm. He has to do whatever weird pitch Dave Rubin made. Yeah. Oh man, the fact that I was just watching the episode of Last Week Tonight that came out yesterday, and there was some sheriff that's running on against wokeism, and I'm like, dear God, American politics is. Every time I think that it has reached peak dumb, they found a way to make it dumber. It's gonna work, and that's gonna be so sad.
Yeah. There's a wonderful if you ever look into French politics occasionally, you can hear the occasional far right politicians talking about le wokisme, which is very funny.
Wokisme? Oh man.
Yeah. Le wokisme.
Why? Why are we doing this?
I don't know. Because the world sucks. And it's not gonna get better for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah. So now, because it seems like in America now, history has become critical race theory and needs to be banned, and basic understanding of sociology is wokeism.
Mm-hmm. Being gay is grooming.
Yeah.
And Disney existing is also grooming.
Oh,
what's that whole thing about? Are people angry at Disney because they did the bare minimum opposition of of the Florida Don't Say Gay bill?
I think so. Just to keep people walking out, because people were walking out and striking at Disney over the fact that they were refusing to say anything about the law, and they found out that they had funded several politicians who had passed the law, and then it sort of led to people talking about how Disney keeps how there's people talk stories about how Disney intentionally erases gay people from their content so that they can release it in countries like Saudi Arabia and stuff. And then but so then they were okay, we need to respond to this. So PR, they made a milk toast hey, we don't hate gay people. And that was enough for Florida to be this is wokeism run amok. You no longer get to be a fucking what's it called? Puppet state. A tiny fiefdom within Florida.
I don't understand. Everything's weird.
Everything is weird.
It sucks now.
All right, let's see if we can do something more fun. All right, next one we got here is a pitch for a sitcom. This should be good. This comes from Matt Lipton. So we get the British Tory MP that was watching porn in Parliament. Again, based.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Just Googling tractors, guys. So we get the British Tory MP that was watching porn in Parliament, and the Canadian Liberal MP who kept getting naked on Zoom. Yep, that sounds good. And
Why are politics so weird?
So it was a Bloc Québécois politician, but what happened is that it was sort of like he didn't know his camera was on, and he just came in from like working out, and so he was changing in front of the camera basically, because they were doing Parliament from Zoom basically.
Oh my God.
Gotta love the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we get the Canadian. So we get the Tory MP who was watching porn in Parliament, the Liberal MP who was naked on Zoom, and the Italian MP who had hentai on his screen during a meeting. I did not know about this.
Well, that's just based. That's just based.
That's just the president of Italy or whatever.
That's just Italian
That's
culture.
that's just the government phone that they give you. This is the default lock screen. And you have them all live in a midtown apartment.
I'm office, so I can make this into law.
Would you watch that? Yes. The Italian MP who had the hentai on his screen during a meeting. That was because they actually gave him Berlusconi's old phone. They passed it down. But yeah,
that does make sense.
So if you took all of these politicians and put them in a midtown apartment, would you watch it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
The energies would be putrid, but I would watch it.
It is like, what's it called? It was Final Fantasy VII hentai. Wow. Well, at least he has taste. God damn. That is simultaneously the least and most Italian thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It should have been the Italian who was watching porn in Parliament. And the British MP should have had the one with the hentai on his phone.
God. Final Fantasy hentai. All these perv politicians as roommates. Why are so many politicians pervs?
I think because you can't be a normal, well-adjusted person and have the desire for power that you have to do to become a politician.
That's fair. Speaking of nothing, have I told you this, that I'm running for office?
Nice. Oh, sorry. I take back what I said.
No. You are very much right. All the things you're saying are still very much correct, because I am not in my right mind. I just thought it was...
So then what weird sex thing are you planning on getting caught doing is the question.
I don't know. What is acceptable for YouTube standards, but unacceptable for politicians?
Being trans.
I'll be trans in public. That'll be enough.
That's sad. I made it sad again.
No.
Oh yeah. There you go. Reading the Lusty Argonian Maid.
Reading the Lusty Argonian Maid, as part of like debate.
Yeah, you have to one up these people. So you have to like use it, like you have to quote from it, like in a speech. Like you have to steal a line from it to use in one of your speeches.
Sorry, I'm looking up Lusty Argonian Maid right now. I guess I'm talking about like housing prices in my municipality, because that's what I'm running for. And I'm citing different sources and scientists. I'm saying, and as of course we all know, as long-term philosopher lifts her tail has said, um, Chairman, my goodness, that is quite a loaf, but how shall that ever fit in my oven? And this is an example of how right-wing housing policies just do not fit in to the oven of our municipality.
Oh my God.
Continuing, the loaf isn't ready for baking, my sweet. It has yet to rise. Of course, referring to the fact that this market experiment with housing simply, they argued that it has not had time to develop, but we know that it will never rise. It will not have time because it was a failed experiment.
This is the best stream
I see
I've
this
ever
working.
heard.
There's something here. There's something here.
Or that's like that's up there with that's like the next level of what was it, Herman Cain, who quoted the Pokemon movie in one of his speeches or something like that.
Yes. Oh, I remember that. I had to think about it for a bit. I remember that. Like, it's very much like, yeah, the best that ever was. Want to be the very best.
It was like the lyrics from the song in the Pokemon 2000 soundtrack. Because, oh man, I'm like, he's dead now. I forgot about that. Okay. So, yes, greenlit 2 seasons and then canceled on Netflix. Matt Lipton, that sitcom pitch.
I would watch it.
I would watch it. I would also pitch that because probably the careers of all those people are going to end soon, that you could just make this a reality show instead of a scripted show, because that's more likely to get multiple seasons on Netflix. So just make it a reality show. Get it hosted by RuPaul, because Netflix can always get RuPaul for something. And then yeah, you've got yourself a Netflix show there. All right, next question, and the last one we actually got on the list, so we're actually going to like kind of perfectly time this. A friend of mine from college is planning a 5-year reunion. First of all, sus. She wants to see what happened to folks who she lost contact with since graduation, but 2 people she's considering are 2 of the chuddy guys I've mentioned here in the past. She thinks there's a possibility that they have changed their hearts, but nothing about their behavior suggests that they are too invested in their reactionary beliefs to have changed in the meantime. It's not set in stone, but is there a way I could convince her that they would just be too toxic to be worth considering?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Sure. So basically the way that this works is that somebody's friend is planning a 5-year university reunion. But a few of the people that she wants to invite have, this is sort of a thing that we all had, where any friends that we had before 2016, we have to, and if we haven't talked to them since, we have to like cautiously figure out what side of it they fell down.
Yeah.
So basically, apparently 2 of the people from this person's old group of friends from college have turned into chuds.
Fun.
And she thinks it's a possibility that they've changed their hearts, but nothing about their behavior suggests that they're invested in their reactionary beliefs to have changed in the meantime. It's not set in stone, but is there a way I could convince her that they would be too toxic to be worth considering?
I don't know. I always think about think more about think about the party more than thinking about the aim of the party. Like, is the party going to be fun by inviting these people? Probably not. The goal of the party is to sort of like have a reunion. And like you can be like, a lot of people will want to like stick to the goal of that. But if it leads to the detriment of the party itself, then it's not worth doing. So
yeah,
like something like that. Like, for the purposes of what you're trying to do, I get why you would do it, but like it's going to make the event bad. So it's best to reduce the vision in favor of the execution.
Mm-hmm. I would even this gives me the reminder that that next year it'll be 10 years since I graduated undergrad, so that's fun. I feel so old. But yeah, like I knew some people. I think everybody knew people before 2016 who turned out to go like in a super fucked up direction after 2016. I don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, anytime you talk to somebody where like you haven't talked to them since 2016, you're always just like, so how about that 2016 election, huh? How do you feel about that one?
Do you feel like the right person won that one?
How about that Charlottesville event that was bad, right? Oh boy.
Yeah. What do you feel about like the state of Black Lives Matter?
Black Lives Matter?
What's your opinion on Tucker Carlson?
Oh man. Oh gosh. So I'm rewatching 30 Rock. And randomly Tucker Carlson shows up in an episode. Because guess that was back when he was still on NBC.
Oh god, I forgot the fact that he used to be like a normal person.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh god. Because it just came out of nowhere.
Just sudden white supremacist.
Baby alarm is going off. Yeah. I don't know if some people can hear that the baby is crying.
Interesting. I can't. Interesting.
Well, he's not crying now. But Kelly just took him out for a walk, so I imagine they just got back.
Hmm.
And that means it's been like, an hour and a bit since he has last been changed and fed, which means he's very angry.
Very demanding, like a Skyrim Jarl. I don't know why that would go to suggestion.
See, sometimes it's wild. Like sometimes, like he'll just be in a mood where like he doesn't even want to play by himself. You have to hold him, and you have to hold him in a way that uses both arms in the most inconvenient way possible, or else he'll be angry. So it's all like this very not scientific system of trying to figure out what is the combination of things I could do right now that will make you not mad. And then repeat all day long.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately.
Yeah.
I went down I went down this long rabbit hole of watching like board game and tabletop role-playing game design YouTube. Not people playing it, not actual play, but people talking about designing the games.
That sounds really fun.
Like the guy who made the most European board game ever, Scythe, has a YouTube channel where he talks about board games.
Oh, that's fun.
Scythe.
Can you tell me who that is, by the way? Because I love Scythe.
Yeah, I watched some of his videos this morning. His name is... It's weird, he's American, and I'm like, there is no way the creator of Scythe is not the most German person ever, but okay. His name is Jamie Stegmaier. I'll write it in the chat for you.
Ah, I found it. Rolling Realms. I love board game shit, so I'm down. I'm done watching this. I fucking love board game shit.
I've been trying to follow along because I've been, so obviously it means that like I've had like 2 or 3 of my like Cones of Dunshire ideas pop up in the last like few weeks. So my life is normal. Everything is happening that is great and normal and fun.
So great.
And because I've been like delaying my watching of, I've been like behind on watching Nebula because I'm like, no, all of the creators that I like that are on Nebula, I have to watch on Nebula so that they can get lots and lots of money. But it also is then like, oh, I haven't watched Mia Mulder in like 2 months. I'm like, okay, I gotta do this.
I mean, the only thing you miss out like on one video in that case.
I watched the TikTok video and the one before that in one sitting.
Sports. Yeah.
The sports one, yeah.
I'm proud of the sports one. The TikTok one is fine.
I loved the TikTok one. It
I
feels
know,
like it feels like that was a video whose seeds were born in these streams because we talked about that stuff a bunch.
Yes. Very much so. No, I like the TikTok one too, but like I could have done better, I feel like, on that subject.
It hit something very. I feel I liked it a lot because you talked about something that every single content creator that I know thinks about and talks about, but didn't have the language to really articulate the thing. That there's like censorship that's through not so much like, official moderation channels, but just censorship that comes from, the algorithm will just not recommend it very much and it won't do very well, or it'll get demonetized or something like that. And like, I have myself, because of some weird contract stuff, I can't take sponsorships for the next few months. And so I've been like thinking about maybe I should take some safer content topics so that I can get my videos not demonetized, which is a tough sell for Step Back, but sometimes it happens. And I have to work that through. So
yeah, that's like I feel like the video, like I feel like I think a reason why I'm not super happy with the video is because like it's very much a video that's like is hits on the creator side of things. I think a lot of YouTubers like the video for that reason, because it like as you mentioned, talks about like indirect forms of censorship and self-censorship. I still could have done better. That's actually one of the big reasons why I'm taking 2 months to make my next video, because I want every video that I make to be great, not just good.
Yeah, I think that, and people have probably been noticing this, that like the new way to do things is that it's now to invest heavier in fewer videos. Mm-hmm. That's the new standard. And that's why you probably notice that people are making longer and more detailed but farther apart videos. And that's because the algorithm no longer punishes you as much for not making content on a regular basis. And now what you want to do is maximize the potential for growth on every single video. So now people... This is why you haven't seen a ContraPoints video since August, and you haven't... and why, like, I had a conversation with ThoughtSlime that directly led to the his changing content strategy and stuff like that. So like
I love to be part of like YouTube, where YouTube changes something in the algorithm or something to like get people to stay more invested, which can also change itself due to just changing culture. But like, I love to be a creator in this space where one day the way to make a living is to make like one video every single week, and then like the other week it'll be like, no, now you can make one video every 6 months, but it has to be long and good. Like it's I love to be part of this huge gargantuan machine that always changes and never tells you how it changes.
Yeah, we've come a long way from Casey Neistat, where everyone thought you had to make videos daily.
The good old days.
Yeah, although I think it also makes sense just because of the introduction of TikTok and stuff like that. That like people watch that. YouTube is becoming less the place you go when you're just like idly watching random videos and you want to have them regularly in your feed. And now it becomes a place where, like I would guess that more people than ever are watching TV or watching YouTube on their televisions, and now want to sit down and like go to YouTube to watch a longer thing than they were in the past, because now you can just if you just want idle random content, that's what TikTok's for now.
Yeah, like TikTok has taken over the short creation space entirely. Mm-hmm. For good and for bad.
Yeah. I believe Tom Scott, who said that it's possibly like 10 years from now that the TikTok format is going to be more the default video format than what YouTube's doing now. So
yeah, I'm not super sure how much I agree with that, because and there's a reason why I think that. Like, I think TikTok is wonderful to get like a lot of content and to catch people's attention. I use TikTok every single day. I cannot name you a single creator I follow on TikTok. I watch TikTok every single day, by the way. Every goddamn day I watch TikTok. Cannot name a single creator. And I comment occasionally. I like videos. I have favorites. I share videos. Cannot name a single creator. And I feel like that is something that needs to be critical for the space. Like, and I love creators. Like, I even have creators that I like. I do not know what they're called. Do you know what I mean? It becomes almost impossible to sort of like to become invested in something that's short. That is so short.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. Like, obviously, people have become super famous on TikTok, but I think that is much more the exception than the rule. Much more so than YouTube has been, because on YouTube, it's possible to have like a dedicated fan base while being small. I don't think that that's possible on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but on that note, actually we are at 2:00, so I'm going to we're gonna come back again later. So first of all, I think though before we go, you should tell everybody where they can consume Mia content.
You can consume Mia content. Sorry, the ventilation in this room is very shit, so I start yawning after a while with the doors closed. You can watch my content on youtube.com/c/MiaMulder, and that will take you to my channel. And watch my videos. I haven't made a video in over a month, and it's still gonna be a couple of weeks until I release my next one. But it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be like 2 hours long, and it's gonna be about Russia. And dendrochronology. I'm so good at hyping up my videos. Hope you like dendrochronology. You can also listen to the podcast that I do. It's called Leech Fest. It's about medical history, and I think it's pretty good. It's on Spotify and everywhere else you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, do it up. All right. And then we'll be back on next week. So yeah, it's good to do streaming again.
Maybe in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think I mentioned this to you that I think I can do every other week. I'm not super sure I'm gonna be able to do every week.
Okay, sounds good.
That's okay.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace out. And I'm gonna raid Left Flank Vets on Twitch, and then yeah, see y'all later. Right.